If you play game, you must be knowing how frustrating it is if your phone lags when it heats up because of intensive gaming. But you'll be surprised how smooth the game runs on these older devices as well. OnePlus 9 is the first one which I use for this experiment, and then later I performed the same experiment on Asus ROG 3, and then iQOO 9 SE is the latest one. Metal panels do block the signals of Wi-Fi and mobile network, but iQOO 9 SE, which is the latest version of this experiment, has a good signal reception because of the improved design. We are picking Asus ROG 3 for today's video. You must be thinking why my back panel looks like this for my Asus ROG 3 phone. So this is my old broken back panel. So there is a great improvement with this change in the phone. Before that, just let me show you the system information for this phone, for the device name and the Android version I'm running. So you could see I'm running Android version 12 on Asus ROG 3. The panel is made out of pure copper, and I've made it at home myself. And you can also see it is pretty thick copper plate with around 1 mm, so it provides a very good area and volume for heat dissipation. So before installing copper plate, I had to put insulations and thermal paste so that there is no short circuit and heat is transferred to the copper panel correctly. This is an app named Console, developed by Asus for ROG phones. So it has all the gaming options available. This app has different modes to be selected on phone according to which the phone performs. So you can either go to extreme gaming mode, dynamic mode, or ultra durable mode. And there you can see the temperature of CPU, GPU and system temperature. This is all about thermal management and performance of the phone while gaming. So thermal management and heat dissipation is the most important thing while gaming in any phone. So this is official schematic diagram. It shows us what's inside the phone and how the thermal management was done by the company for this gaming phone. So it's made of large graphite cooling pads, and then on the top of that there is copper 3D vapor chamber, and there is an aluminum frame which conducts heat, and on top of that there is a large heat sink which is again a piece of aluminum. And on top of all this there is a back panel which is made of glass installed on the phone, and there is an optional cooler available as an accessory which used to blow air on the back panel for cooling purpose. So usually phones install glass as a back panel or a plastic, or it's the material which is bad at conducting heat. So here on ROG 3 they have used glass as a black panel, and it was trapping heat inside the phone, and because of which it impacts the performance, because when you are playing intense games it consumes lot of power and generates lot of heat, and as phones gets older they consume lot of processing power from older processors and generate lot of heat. So let's see why I prefer copper over glass. So if you see, thermal conductivity of copper is around 398. Now let's check for graphite, which is commonly used material for heat dissipation in phones. It has a very high thermal conductivity of 4180. And now if we check the thermal conductivity of glass from which the back panel is made, it is just 1.38. So now you can compare 1.38 against 398 of copper. So switching to copper is going to conduct 300 times more than the glass panel. Now let's test this copper panel in a live game session. So for testing I've installed this games which consumes more power and generates a lot of heat. So one is Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact. These games are launched with pretty good graphics, and it has an open world experience, and it consumes lot of processing power. With Asus ROG phone there is a very good option. You have a game panel where you could constantly check the temperature and parameters. So here we are starting with 30 degrees Celsius as a system temperature when we are starting with the game. As the game progresses we could see the temperature has been rising. So we'll have a session of 10 minutes of Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves is a recently launched game, so it is the latest game with the graphics of 2024. So back in 2020, I used to play PUBG and COD. With the company installed glass panel, the system temperature would raise to 44 degrees Celsius or 45 degrees Celsius in 2020. But later, when the Genshin Impact was launched, I started playing Genshin Impact 2 to 3 years back. And as the phone got older, the temperature kept rising, and the phone temperature was reaching around 50 degree and 51 degrees Celsius. So it became impossible for me to play games like Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact on the highest graphics settings in 2024. And that's when I came up with an idea to change the back panel to copper and increase the heat dissipation, so that process, even if the processor heats up, it could transfer heat outside the phone as fast as possible. And you can also see the phone is not heating much after 38 degrees Celsius. We have a constant 38 degrees Celsius temperature on phone in our game session. Also, let me show you the graphics setting for this game which I am playing on. So if you go to graphics setting and see the current set load, it is overload, and every graphic setting is set to the highest possible configuration. So this means it consumes more power while playing games. We are just completing 10 minutes of game session of Wuthering Waves, and we could see that the temperature keeps changing between 37 degrees Celsius and 39 degrees Celsius. And I would say that is a pretty good temperature range which phone is able to maintain while playing graphic intensive games. So I've been playing Wuthering Waves a lot lately after the launch of the game from day one. And I must say it's pretty interesting game with new combat style. You should try it out as well. And yeah, see, we have a temperature of 39 degrees Celsius at the end of 10th minute of our game session. So I would say our thermally re-engineered phone was able to reduce the temperature by 10 to 12 degrees Celsius, which is a very good improvement in thermal management. I'll be back with more videos for other devices as well. Also subscribe to my channel for more such life hacks. And I make sure to cover the technical aspects as well as all the research I have been through for each of the project.